Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.
BTS are global pop stars. Now they have solidified their place as diplomats too. Expect them to stick around for a while. You can't say the same though for Justin Trudeau. The Canadian Prime Minister called for an early election, hoping to secure a majority. But power could be slipping out of his hands already. Trudeau's gamble to call an early election is backfiring. It seems Canada is voting today for the second time in 2 years, and it looks like no one has the majority. Opinion polls show Trudeau's Liberal Party is neck and neck with the Conservatives. A month ago, the picture was different. Polls showed a clear majority for Justin Trudeau. But in recent weeks, the tables have turned. Why? Well, once again, Trudeau has only himself to blame for this. He called for the election at a time when Canada was dealing with a serious surge in Wuhan virus cases. Trudeau called for the snap poll on the 15th of August. Back then, Canada reported an average of less than 2,000 daily cases. The numbers look very different now. More than 4,000 people testing positive every day in Canada. New infections have more than doubled. In the western province of Alberta, for example, intensive care units are close to being overwhelmed. The province has now declared a public health emergency. Public restrictions are being reimposed. The opposition was quick to call out Trudeau's mistake.
Mr. Trudeau called an election that's costing us $600 million rather than keeping the Delta variant from spreading, rather than actually working together.
Well, there's no question that Mr. Kenney is to blame here and that his leadership has been horrible. But it doesn't also dismiss the fact that Mr. Trudeau called an election while the fourth wave was hitting hard, while everyone knew that it was going to hit.
Trudeau called for an election in the middle of Canada's fourth wave. Public anger followed. It fueled far-right protests. Throughout campaigning, Justin Trudeau has repeatedly faced angry protesters. A couple of weeks ago, things got out of hand. One protester threw stones at the Prime Minister when he was out to campaign. Trudeau has blamed, in fact, the surge in public anger on the far right. He said a victory for the Conservatives will push the country back.
I think we are seeing an increase in intolerance and disinformation and fear throughout the world. The extreme right and sometimes the extreme left are becoming more and more mobilized. And here in Canada, there is great concern about the far right.
We have a choice to make as a country, and it's a really simple one. But it's a really important one. Do we keep moving forward, or do we go backward with the Conservatives?
But attacking the opposition is not really helping him, because this election is not about them. It's about the Prime Minister himself. It's a referendum on Justin Trudeau. Even his rivals have realized that Trudeau's biggest enemy is Trudeau himself. Conservative leader Erin O'Toole has attacked Trudeau, calling him, quote-unquote, privileged, entitled, and unworthy of trust. Are these claims exaggerated? Trudeau's tenure as Prime Minister has been riddled with controversies. Last year, it emerged that the Canadian government gave a contract to a charity run by the Trudeau family. Trudeau was apparently involved in this decision, but was cleared of any wrongdoing. In 2019, he was found guilty of pressing a minister to help a large company avoid criminal sanctions. And these controversies are now casting a shadow on the Prime Minister's re-election. The Canadians have begun voting. Counting will begin by tomorrow India time. If the opinion polls prove to be right, Justin Trudeau will end up with a minority again, perhaps with fewer numbers than the last time. The result could spell the end of his government. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.